Hello guys, welcome back to TechDose, and in this video we will look at recover a tree from preorder traversal, which is from Leetcode number 1028. Let's now look at the problem statement. In this problem we run a preorder DFS on the root of a binary tree. At each node in this traversal we output d dashes, where d is the depth of this node. Then we output the value of this node. If the depth of the node is d, the depth of its immediate child is d plus 1. The depth of the root node is always 0. If a node has only one child, that child is guaranteed to be the left child. Given the output traversal of this traversal, recover the tree and return its root. So we are required to build the tree. Let's look at example number 3. In this case, if you look at this tree, then it is starting with this value 1. See the traversal value. This traversal string will never start with any dash because the root node will always be present. As you can look in the constraint, that in the constraint it is saying you will have nodes in the range of 1 to 1000. That means at least one node is present there, therefore the root will always be present. And the root is present at depth equals to 0. That means you will have 0 dashes, means no dash. Therefore this traversal string will always start with an integer value, right? Now having known this, you know that the first integer whatever you have before the dash, that will always form the root node. Now you count the number of dashes after it. If you have one dash, then this means that it is to the next level. So this is, let's say, depth 0, and now you are going to depth 1. So if you go to depth 1, what is the value? It is 401. Now look at the other dashes. Now you are seeing double dash, right? Double dash and 349. Now you know that it is again going to the next level, but the problem statement already mentions that it will be doing a preorder traversal, so it must be going to the left hand side. And definitely if you have only one child, only the left child is present, but the right child cannot be present if there is only one child, right? So since it is preorder traversal, 349 will be added as the left child. And again, if you find the number of dashes, it is saying 3 dashes. That means it is going to the next level. And so the value 90 can be extracted and it will be put as the left child. Now if you look at the number of dashes after it, it is not saying 4 dashes, otherwise you will go below this 90. But it is saying 2 dashes. This means we need to go back to level number 1, right? We need to go back to level number 1 because 2 dashes means it will be present at level number 2. And if it is present in level number 2, whose child it will be? It will be of a child of a node which is present at level 1, right? So we need to backtrack 2 times, and I will show you how to do that later. And we will go to 401, which is at level 1. And after that we extract this 88. And since we know that the left child exists now, therefore the next time we will be putting the right child, which is 88. And that is how this 88 is put, right? Now if you follow this technique, this will be simply a order of string length technique, okay, the string length technique. And since we know that the nodes are only 1000 in count, therefore this is a linear algorithm and definitely this is going to pass. So we don't have to do anything. This problem is all about implementation. Okay. So let's look at certain APIs which will be helping us to implement this. Now I will be showing you 2 APIs, how to extract the node value from the string and how to calculate the depth of a node. Let's say that we are given a string, which is basically your traversal string, right? And you know that the traversal string will always start with an integer value. Now how to extract a value? Let's say your position pointer will be starting with index number 0. In order to get the existing value, let's say it is 1, it could have been anything, like it could have been 13 as well. How to do this is you assign a value equals to 0 and then you start traversing from left to right until you see a dash, or otherwise you see the end of string. How to write this condition? You can check that position should be less than n, that means you should not go out of bound. And the second condition is whatever you are seeing must all be greater than equals to 0 and less than equals to 9. You can note that the ASCII value of this 0 will be 48 and for this 9 it will be 57. And since you want to represent it as integer 0 and integer 9 and all the ranges from 0 to 9 and not from 48 to 57, that is why you have to subtract it from the base of the number system, which is 0, so as to map it from 0 to 9 simply, right? That is what we will be doing. So just to give you an idea how to extract this 13 out, you can just start from here. Your value will be equals to 0. Now what you will do is you will multiply this value by 10 because you have to left shift the value. Okay, we have to left shift this value by 1 digit. So multiply by 10 because 10 is the base of the number system, and add this one value. So the value becomes 1 now. So the new value is 1. Okay. Now your position will be updating to the next character. Check out if you are out of bound. No, you are not out of bound. Are you seeing a digit? Yes, we are seeing a digit in the range of 0 to 9. So what we have to do? Just subtract it from 0 and get the value. It will be 3. So left shift this 1 by 1 time to the left. So multiply by 10 and add this 3. So this will become 13. Okay. And now you go to the next position. Now you are not seeing a digit, and that is how you will be stopping here, right? You will be stopping here. So this is how you get the number, and you can simply return the value, extracted value. So this is a utility function, get value. Now the second utility function is get the dash length, because the dash length will be important to decide whatever node you will be seeing, what is the depth of that node, isn't it? So let's say there were 2 dashes again. Okay, there were 2 dashes. So now when you start your position at a certain point, what you have to check is, first you will be assigning the dash length to 0, and you should not go out of bound. And also the character that you are seeing must exactly be dash, not any other character. It should not be a digit. Okay. If you happen to see that, you can always keep on incrementing the dash length value. If there is a dash, go to the next position and increment the dash value. If there is a dash, go to the next position, increment the dash value. If there is no dash, then you are done, and return this dash length. So this will tell you the depth of the next node value which you will be going to extract, isn't it? So you can make out that first you have to find out the depth, and then you will be getting the value of the node. So these are the 2 utility functions, and I have shown you with code. So it will be very easy for you to understand now. Now let me show you the entire dry run using a simple example. So this is the tree that I will be trying to build. Okay, so I have already built this so that it will be easy for you to understand. According to the problem, the root node will always be present, because if you look at the constraint, it said about the node to be ranging from 1 to 1000. So you know that at least one node is present. So at least the root will be present, right? So whenever I start the call, before even making the call, I will extract the first value. The position will be updated here. Okay. And I will build the root of the tree node. So this will be 10. Okay, this I will be doing even before making the DFS call or the recursion call, because I know the root is always present, isn't it? And you know these 2 utility functions. These 2 utility functions will be passing this position as reference. So if you do pass by reference, then whatever update is made on this position while extracting the value or extracting the dashes, it will be reflected back in all the other functions, right? So that is why it will be present at index 2 after getting the value. Now after this, I will try to build the left side. Okay, because it is a pre-order traversal, and also if there is a child, then it must be the left child. It is guaranteed to be the left child. Now you get the length of the dashes. First you have to think about what is the expected length of the dash for the next level. The expected length at the root level is 0, right? It is 0 dashes. So I will mark it as current node. Okay. Now what is the expected length at the next level? It should be 0 plus 1, which is 1 dashes. How many dash did you get? If you extract it, the position will be updated and it will stop at 3, and the dash length will be exactly 1. So dash length will be 1. So that means the expectation is good here, and that is why you will be extracting this value. You can extract this value and the position will be stopping at index 4. What is the value? 5. And you can update this 5 here. Okay. Now in the DFS call, you can again go further, and now you find out the next expectation. Whenever you make the DFS call, your expected length will always increase by 1, because now you are going to next level, means the depth is increasing, isn't it? So the expected dashes will increase by 1 every time. So how many dashes are you getting? If you extract it, you will stop at this index number 3 and you get 2 dashes. So dash length is 2. It is as per our expectation. Yes. So I will go ahead and extract the value, and you will stop at index 9. You get 220 and you fill it with 220. And now you again go to the next level and try to make another node, right? Try to make another node, and what will be the expected dashes? It will be 3 dashes. Now when you go here, you try to extract the dashes. Your position is at 9. If you try to extract the dashes, you will stop at 10, right? And it will say that the dash length is only 1. Is it as per our expectation? No, it is saying that it should belong to level number 1, isn't it? So if it should belong to level number 1, then this cannot be made, and that is why we will be setting here a null value, okay? And we will be backtracking. Now when you backtrack, you will be reaching to this 220, and when you backtrack, your position should actually reset back to the index 9, isn't it? Otherwise it will create problem. So if you want this value to be reset, then whenever I'm extracting the dash, then I should actually remember the previous position, right? So I will take another variable called previous position, which will help me to reset my position value. So whenever I go into the DFS call, my previous position will be assigned with the position value, and then only I will be backtracking. So in this case, I can again reset the value of position equals to previous position, and then I will be backtracking. Now from this 220, I will try to make a write call. And again, if there is a write call, then the expectancies should be for 3 length. Again, if you check the length, it will be 1 length. So again, it will be setting it to null, and again you will be backtracking. So both the left and right calls are done. So you will be backtracking to this 5. Once you backtrack here, your position is again set to 9, right? And now you will try to make the right call. If you make the right call, the expectancy of the dash length is 2. What is the dash length again? It is 9. Okay. So again, the position will be set back to the previous position, and this will be set to null, and you will be backtracking. Once both the calls are done, you will be backtracking to 10. Okay. Now from this 10, you will try to make the right call. What is the dash length that you are expecting here? Only 1 length, right? What is the dash length here? 1 length, right? So you will be stopping at this 10, and you will be making a new node. You will be getting the value, which is 73. Your position will be updated to 12, and you will be putting 73 here. Now make the next call and go to the left hand side. In this case, the number of dashes expected are 2. So how many dashes you have? 2 dashes. Okay, fine. Then you can make the new node. You extract the value 80. You put the value 80 here, right? And you are done. Now you will be trying to make the next call, and the number of dashes expected are 3. So your position is currently here. Your previous position will be immediately assigned to the position in every DFS call. Once you extract the number of dashes, it will say that you have only 2 dashes. Expectancy was for 3. So you will put a null, and you will return back to 80. Try to make the right call. Again, the expectancy is for 3. When the position is reset back to previous position, again you extract these dashes, and you will find that the length is only 2, which is unexpected. So you just put a null, and you go back to 80. Once both the calls are done, you go back to 73. Your position pointer is still at 16. Try to make the right call, and again find the number of dashes. Here the expectancy is for 1 plus 1, which is 2. So if you find the number of dashes, it is 2. So that is why I can make a node here, extract the value, it is 1, put here 1. Now you are at the end, right? So if you make the left and right call, it will be just setting the null values. Even while creating the node, it will set the null value by default. So when you end, then you are done. And once you are done, then whatever tree you have built is actually the required tree. And if you check it out, it is the same as the reference tree that I had made the example from, right? So in this case, I will be just having 2 utility functions, get val and get dash length. So the string is actually the traversal string. N is the length of the traversal string. Position is the position pointer. Okay. And we are passing it by reference. The build tree is the actual recursion function. Here the current node will be the current parent, below which on the left and the right side we will be appending the left and right children. The expected dash length will say if we are making the node correctly in the correct level. This S, N and pause are the same as the traversal string, the length of the traversal string, and the current position inside the traversal string. Okay. So I think this is clear. Let's now analyze the time complexity. In this case, we are just going through the entire string exactly one time. So if n is the string length, then the time complexity will be order of n, and the space complexity will also be order of n, right? Order of n and order of n. This is when you assume n as the string length. But if you are assuming n to be the number of nodes, then the story will be different. In this case, the n max value, as you can look, the n max value is 10 to the power of 3. Okay. So 10 to the power 3 nodes we can have at maximum. So since each of the node value can go to 10 to the power of 9, which is a 10 digit number, right? So that is why the string length which is consumed by just mentioning the node values will be 10 to the power of 4 length. So this can be considered to be 10 times of n, which can be considered to be order of n in the amortized complexity. Now if you look at the height of the tree that you can have, then the tree can be a skewed tree. Like all the values can be something like this, right? It will be something like a linked list. So in that case, the first node will be having 1 dash, second node will be having 2 dashes, third node will be having 3 dashes, and so on. The last node will be having 10 to the power 3 dashes, or you can say n dashes. If you add up all these values, then you will get amortized order of n square. I have also done a calculation for the exact runtime. You can just check it out. But we are just concerned about amortized time in this case, amortized length and everything. So this length will be n square. Okay. So the total string length will go to the total dashes that you are putting plus the node values. So that will boil down to order of n square plus order of n. And that will be equals to order of n square, right? So the amortized complexity, if you assume n to be the number of nodes, will be coming out to be order of n square, while the space complexity will be only order of n, because when you are building the tree, then you are not including the dashes, right? So space complexity will be order of n, time complexity n square, provided n is the number of nodes. If n is the string length, then again time complexity, space complexity will be order of n. I hope this is clear. Let's now look at the code. If you are someone who is looking to prepare for top product based company within a limited time of just 3 months, then we have brought for you both the DSA and the system design live interview training program. The most important feature of this program is you get a filtered and condensed structured curriculum, in-depth discussion of all the topics, and my guarantee of your understanding, one-on-one guidance with me, and live weekend classes. To know more about the training, you can WhatsApp us on this given number. You can look at this get value and the get dash length utility function. The code is exactly the same as I has explained, so I think it will be clear to you. So let's look at the main function here, which is recover from preorder. We are given the traversal. I am finding the size of the entire traversal string and then setting the position pointer to 0. Then I will be extracting the value by making a call to the getVal and building a root node. Then I will be trying to build the left subtree, and then I will be trying to build the right subtree. In this case, if you look at the build tree, then the current node is the one that we are receiving, which is always the parent. The expected dash length will start from 1 because the root node is at dash length 0. And the traversal string is actually your input string. This n is actually the length of the traversal string. The position is actual position at which we are pointing to in the traversal string. Okay. Once you have built the tree, definitely you have to return the root as asked in the problem. Now in this code, if the position is equals to n, that means if you are done, then you return back. Then you take a previous position and save the current position, so that if you have to backtrack, then actually the position can be reset to this previous position value, right? Then you get the dash length using the get dash length API. Now check if the dash length is not as per expectation, then in that case the position will be reset to the previous position because we need to backtrack. It is not the correct position of the current node. And so we'll be just returning back after resetting the value. You check out that this position is also passed by reference. But if this current node is as per expected dash length, then you go and extract the node value. Once you have done that, make a new node and then check out if this current node's left is actually not having anything. If it is null, then make this new node point to the left child. Otherwise, if the left was already having something, then you make it point to the right child, because according to the problem, if there is one child, it will always be the left child, isn't it? So that is why this logic always works. And after having added this current node, you will be making a call to the left subtree and then building the right subtree as well. So everything will be done, and I hope this code is clear. If you still have any doubt, then feel free to comment below and I'll try to help you as soon as possible. Like and share our video and subscribe to our channel in order to watch more of these programming videos. See you guys in the next video. Thank you.